Today we're talking about 10 reasons of why you should not wait to release your music and the benefits of releasing more music more frequently as often as you can. This is the idea and the framework of how I've released music in the past, and it's worked. Not completely, I'm not exactly where I'd want to be in my music career. Of course, I'm always looking to advance, but I think that there are tremendous benefits to releasing so much music. So let's go into the first one. The first one is you get to stay relevant in the music industry. With the TikTokification of the world, we have, as a society, tremendously reduced our capacity for paying attention to things. What's really interesting is you look at songs that are really popular all of a sudden, and they don't stay popular for that long anymore. I think about 10 years ago, even 10 years ago feels like it was yesterday at this point, but 10 years ago, you'd have certain songs that were on the radio or being played or streamed or at weddings for months. I don't feel like we have that same capacity today. I don't feel like there are songs that are released as often today, or are released and then sorry, let me rephrase it. They're released often, but like when they're released, they're not sticking for months like they used to. For example, look at 10, 12 years ago, Ed Sheeran's, what is that track? Thinking About You or something like that. Even fall in love in mysterious way. That was everywhere. Everywhere for months. I don't feel like we have that same capacity anymore, just in the way that people stream music and their attention spans just move on quickly. Number 2 is you get to build a stronger fan base. The more music you release, the more that people anticipate your music coming out, the more that people get excited for new music coming out, and they build a connection to you. For example, it's like your favorite TV show. It comes out every Tuesday night, and you get to wait for it, you get to anticipate it, and even if you don't love the episode, you love the fact that you've been given something from your favorite artist or TV show or whatever the case may be, actor. Number 3 is it boosts your algorithm ranking. So algorithms are everywhere, and algorithms, to be honest with you, I think, we overthink the algorithm in the sense that I think it's like, oh, the algorithm's screwing me. But the algorithm is really just people. People are the algorithm in the sense of, like, if people are watching your videos, it boosts in the algorithm. So that being said, if people are listening to the music, it boosts in the algorithm. Your music will be pushed out to more people. If people are listening to your song, Spotify wants to keep people on their platform longer. So if they're not listening to your song, if they skip you, that is an indication that people aren't listening to you, like liking your music. So then Spotify's not going to push it out more. If people are liking your music and they keep listening or keep clicking or keep wanting to come back, it gives them a reason to want to show it to even more people, because that means that more people are going to want to stay engaged on their platform. Number 4 is you improve this is a huge one actually, you improve your songwriting capability and quality and your creative output. So what I mean by that, the more you write, the better you get. It's like anything, practice makes progress, and the more songs you try to write, the more different. One of the things I really like about releasing so much music is you get to try different genres. You say, hey, I want to try something a little different. This song lends itself to a little bit more pop punk. This song lends itself a little bit towards singer-songwriter. So let me just try acoustic and guitar. Like, if you just work on one song, you don't get to try all these new things as often as you might be able to if you release more music. And the more you write, the better you get. It's in reality. And you don't know which song is going to resonate to people. It could be song 1 or song 15 or song 30 or song 4. Or song 4 resonates with somebody today, but maybe a month or 2 months or 6 months from now doesn't resonate, or vice versa. It doesn't resonate today, but it resonates later on. Number 5, this one's tough, but it is possible, is it creates a sustainable income stream. You need a lot of streams to make money. I mean, back when I started, I don't know exactly the numbers today, but it was about a million streams was about $3,000 to $3,500. That's a good amount of money, but like a million streams is a lot of streams. Now, the flip side to that is like a million streams is also not a lot of streams. So like for smaller artists, somebody just getting started, a million streams is a ton of streams. But the hope in that is like for the huge artists, a million streams is nothing. They're doing, there are like several artists that have several songs that have billions of streams. Like, think about that, on a single platform too. So now if you want to divide it between platforms, for example, and you have YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music, that means you really only need 333,000 streams to make a million streams together, right? These are people that have billions of streams on Spotify. Then that doesn't include YouTube or Apple Music, right? We're talking billions. So like when you say that, oh, Ed Sheeran has billions of streams, a million doesn't sound like so many, right? So the more you release, the more options you have for a cumulative number to continue. So you also didn't need a single song to hit a million. You could have 5, 6, 7 songs that have, 100,000 each. That starts to, and again, that's still a lot of streams, but 100,000 is a lot more attainable than a million, right? But if you have 10 songs that hit 100,000, that's a million, right? And the benefit to doing that, and one of the things I want to mention is how you release your music. There's different platforms out there, but this is important because how you release it and how you pay to get it out there. For example, there are some platforms where you pay per song. Well, if you're paying per song, automatically, when you release that song, you're already automatically in the negative. So it's something to consider, right? For example, say it's $10 to release it per song. You release 100 songs, you're already $1,000 in the negative. You have to make $1,000 just to become break even to release those songs. But there are other platforms out there where you can release unlimited songs for a certain price. So like, you have to weigh your options. For example, like Distrokid, you pay one yearly fee and you can release an unlimited amount of songs. So if you're planning on releasing a lot of songs, that's a great option because you just pay that one fee. I think it's like $35 a year. Sorry, $35 a year, not a month, a year. Well, if you're releasing 3 songs, it's the price of releasing 3 songs somewhere else. But if you're releasing 100 songs, it's way cheaper to go something like that. In fact, if you want to use Distrokid, I have a link down below where you can actually save some money on your first year subscriptions. Check that out. Number 6 is you can capitalize on trends and popularity, things that are popular at the moment. This is an iffy one because it depends on where you want to go with your artistry. Like, if you can do this, I think I've tried to do this in a way that wasn't super authentic to me. I had this song called TikTok Made Me Famous. TikTok had not made me famous, but it was 2020, 2021. TikTok was really starting to like really take off way before it was like super mainstream. A lot of people still thought it was stupid, but people were really starting to gain traction with it. And I was like, oh man, I think that there'd be cool, and people were like really starting to become famous from it. I thought it'd be a cool track to come up with an idea for like called TikTok Made Me Famous. Looking back, it's so cheesy. So that's why I say do it in a way that's authentic to you. Like if there's a movie that comes out or something that happens in the news, like you can then capitalize on those moments as opposed to like if you release a song 9 months later, it's not super within, you have an opportunity. For example, I think hip hop storytelling really has an opportunity to do this. You can tie in current events. I think that's super cool. Singer-songwriter stuff, it doesn't lend itself as well to it, but if you could tie it in, I think that'd be really, there's a folk does it. There's this kid that I think his name's Wells Music, I think. Kid's unbelievable. I think he's like literally the Bob Dylan of our generation. Incredible, and he ties in current events, and it's singer-songwriter folk, like incredible songwriting. So if you could do that, more power to you. Number 7 is kind of like what I said before in honing your skills, but if you get to experiment with different styles and genres. So, for example, song 1 might be an acoustic track, acoustic piano, acoustic guitar, and piano, and vocals. But song 2 might be, electric guitars and drums, and you learn how to mix differently and write differently with these when you start to include these different instruments, and it totally changes the way you make music. Number 8 is huge. The more music you have out there, the more opportunity you have for sync and licensing deals. There's a lot of money to be made if your song gets chosen for sync, whether it be a trailer for a movie or video game, a TV show, inside of a TV show, inside of a commercial. There is a lot of money. And the more music you have out there, the more opportunities you have for songs to get chosen. That's huge. Number 9 is, I don't want to phrase it. It's the word I'm looking for, controversial, I guess you could say, and that's stay ahead of your competitors. I don't like thinking of other musicians as my competitors. I think that we can all win in a sense, but the truth is, I can only listen to one song at a time. And you can only listen to one song at a time. And your listeners can only listen to one song at a time. So I think you'd probably prefer the listening to you over another musician. Am I right or am I wrong? So the more you release, people will then be like your fans and your supporters will be more inclined to listen to you, and also you stay top of mind. You want to stay like relevant to them. So I don't love thinking about the competitors, but the truth is, if you're there releasing music, they'll be thinking of you and wanting to hear your music as opposed to somebody else. And the last one is building your catalog for future opportunities and also just for a fan base. This is huge. There so often artists will blow up on one song, whether it be the first song they released or the third song that they released. They blow up and people are like, wow, this song is so good. And then people want to go hear more from them and there's nothing there. That's the only song that they have released. That's the they have 2 or 3 other songs and people are like, I want to hear more, but like they don't have any more. Building a catalog is huge because then when people go and find your music, your song finally blows up, and then people go and say, oh my gosh, there's 100 songs by this guy. And they can get lost in this immersive experience of listening to your music. That is probably the most important one. And it builds a loyal fan base. A base of supporters. Where, for example, I have like 9 hours worth of music out there. I think it's like 125 songs. And there are people out there, and I'm incredibly great. It blows my mind still. It's like almost hard to believe. That will listen to the whole playlist. Like it's like 9 hours. They're like, yeah, I had a lot of driving to do this weekend, so I just listened for 9 hours. And it's like, that blows my mind. But the connection that you end up building with that supporter is huge because that's 9 hours of. It's like listening to the 3 Joe Rogan podcasts. Like you know, like you get to know somebody, even though you know, like it's crazy. So those are the 10 benefits I believe to releasing more music. Again, let's talk about how to release music really quick. I personally use Distrokid. I've tried a bunch of different ones, but the reason I like Distrokid is they've always been the top of the industry, like the forefront of the industry on like benefit. Like for example, like when you could get your music before anyone could like allowed you to get your music on TikTok or on Instagram and use it in videos. Distrokid was the first to do that. Or things like mastering. They have options for mastering, like with an AI masterer. You know, there's a lot of different options. But the main benefit that I really switched over for was because... Actually, I switched over because of the whole TikTok and Instagram thing, getting my music on there back then. But the reason I've stayed is because I release a lot of music, and it's one flat fee. I don't have to pay per song. I used to pay per song, and it got expensive really quickly. So that's why I use them. There's a link down below if you want to use them too. You can actually save money on your first year. So definitely consider checking that out. But definitely release more music.